Welcome to the Josh and Erik Show. I'm Erik.
And I'm Josh.
And today, guys, we are going to talk about how we acquire our customers in the service business. What do you think about that?
Yeah. How do we grow our company?
I think it's a pretty hot topic right now. And, everybody's got to have customers. You got to be able to get your sales. So this is what we did to get to where we're at as far as customers go and how we get them and how we convert them. So
I preach and preach and preach and preach, people, that sales is the number one thing anybody can have in any company. You cannot have operations, you cannot have systems if you don't have revenue.
What do you always say? We follow the salesman.
We follow the salesman. Salesmen
Yep.
give us feedback, and they tell us what the market demands, and then we make adjustments.
That's right.
Today, we wanted to break this down and simplify. People make sales way too complicated. It's pretty simple. There's only a few ways to gain and access customers. So today, we wanted to talk about how we do it. That's not how every industry does it. Erik and I are in the service industry, but a lot of our methods can work for many types of industries.
I would agree. So we're going to break it down for you, kind of like our broad side, our outside sales side, and then our inside sales. And then we'll probably touch on a couple other little things in between. But to kind of kick it off, let's talk about our broad outlook, I guess you'll say.
Let me stop you real quick, Erik.
What?
Let me stop you. Let's talk about how many stupid things that we have tried to get customers.
Oh, shit, man. We've done pretty much anything you can think of, right?
Yeah,
we came up with crazy ideas like getting the largest Guinness Book of Records toilet and putting it on the side of the highway to attract
postcards. We have literally tried and spent, I have probably over my career spent well over millions of dollars on marketing and advertising for various different types of companies and different types of industry.
Yeah, and it's easy to do. And, for me, I kind of gravitated a little bit towards the marketing sector for one reason or another. I enjoyed it. And, if you're not integrated in marketing, you can pretty much get sold a bag of goods pretty easily, in my opinion. And I've came from knowing pretty much zero about marketing to feeling like I know quite a bit and I could have an intelligent conversation with our marketing people and help kind of guide them based on my knowledge that I've gained over the last 4 or 5 years. So, the broad reaching in marketing it's integral, but it can't be the only thing that you focus on.
Oh, you remember our conversation yesterday with one of our clients?
Which one was that? We've had a lot of those.
He was like, hey, I started this company. This guy came to me and was like, do you want that phone to ring off the hook?
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah. Do you want your phone to ring off the hook? Do you want money to flow in? Like, you need a dump truck to come get all the money. He's like, heck yeah. And he signed up for this elaborate marketing plan. And guess what? It was under-delivered. How many of you folks watching this podcast has signed up for these extreme, marketing plans that just are under-delivered? Folks, it's very simplistic. A lot of these different types of various marketing strategies, they have to know your business model. They have to know what we're about. Obviously, they're marketing our motto. They're marketing our company. And Erik and I spent many of hours with these guys, and we spend a lot of time and we put a lot of focus in like, hey, what are we about? And that's what we need to be pushing.
Yeah, it kind of starts there. And I'll give you a little bit of high level, in my opinion, and kind of my main focuses when it comes to marketing, right? I would say it starts with your website and making sure that you have great SEO throughout your website to get your organic ranking on Google. Okay, that's where it starts. And you have to kind of you have to figure out the keywords that people are searching for and make sure you got everything detailed in there correctly in the right organization, in the right order for Google. That's number one.
But don't go in there, folks. I've done it. Don't go in there and spend all this money on SEO thinking you're going to be number one on Google overnight.
No, it doesn't work like that.
It doesn't work like that. Mm-mm. So put a modest budget to it. You know what I mean? Be realistic with yourself. Don't let somebody sell you a bag of goods that's not true. Because, folks, what I always say, that's stupid, right? And I'm going to continue to say that because I have been stupid many of times.
Yep.
So don't be put a modest budget on it. You're not going to be number one overnight.
That's a great piece of advice, and I agree with him. Like, it's something that you work towards a little bit at a time, right? It's not something that you go and drop a huge amount of money and thinking you're going to get your return lickety-split.
Google is smarter than you and I.
Yeah, it does not work like that. It's something that you gradually work towards. Now, you can spend a little bit of money up front on your website and make sure that you integrate the SEO into that. But as far as continuing to utilize and emphasize on SEO and different other strategies, and there's lots of them, I say that's something you work into every month. Put a little bit of budget to it every single month. Just don't not do it at all, in my opinion. But put a little bit of budget, modest little budget, and focus on a little bit on that, right? That's one thing. Second thing, which is my favorite, which is your Google ads, right? Running ads. I like running Google ads. You can run all kinds of social ads, stuff like that too. But my focus has been Google, and I've had a lot of success doing it.
Google is the number one search engine platform in the world. Yep. So use Google. Don't be stupid.
I'm just saying that where we started was Google, and we've had very good success doing it that way. Spend some time with your guy. Make sure that the guy that's making the ads is targeting correctly, which is a very, very big piece, right? I spent a lot of time initially up front with our advertising guys about, hey, here's who we need to be targeting that needs a dumpster, like a residential dumpster. Here's who's going to need a commercial toilet. Here's who's going to need temporary or permanent fencing. And spending that upfront time, right? Making sure that they have, the right the right audience that you're targeting, so that you know that the money that you're sending that out to and the people that are going to look at it are the people you want to see it,
Erik, I always say, keep it simple, stupid, use a redneck approach. How do you search for shit? Right?
With as little words as possible.
Yeah, half of them are misspelled. Do you search for it on Google Maps? Yahoo Maps, probably more than likely something centered around Google, right? So think about how you search for things. If you're in a local city, how do you search for a restaurant or a baseball field or whatever? How do you find the places and the services that you're wanting at the time that you need them? For us, it's Google. For most people, it's Google. So we use Google. It's pretty simple, folks. Don't overcomplicate this. These people sell you these elaborate programs. You don't need them. Erik mentioned that we use social media. We use TikTok. We use Facebook. We use Instagram. We use YouTube. This platform is mainly derived off YouTube, but we use all those channels. But to Erik's point, you got to use a little bit of all of them at the same time. But Google's our number one platform for our service-based business.
Yeah, and I think to elaborate a little bit on that, I do believe, in my opinion, that some of the socials are kind of, we'll call it designed for one thing or another, right? Most of your younger crowd is going to be on TikTok, maybe buying some things that I probably wouldn't buy, right? And there's going to be some of your people on Facebook could be in my middle age type.
We grew up on Facebook. That was our big deal.
Exactly. So I think that, depending on what you're selling, if you're in a service business and what you're selling, you could tailor it to a specific social media platform that you're probably going to have better luck on. So that is a good point to talk about. But I would say the last piece I want to cover before we move on to the next one, it's marketing based, but reviews. Reviews are so important, right? You have to have a good operation and you got to have sales, but after the sale is done and your team did a great job, make sure you set something up to send out to that customer and have them take the time, figure out a way to do that, right? We do it one way. There's probably a million ways to do it, but try to get that person to leave you a review on Google or on your Google My Business, and that is going to pay dividends. Continue to do it over and over. Send it to all those customers. Have them pull that review. Have them send that review, because Google's going to look at that and it's going to help you in your rankings. So reviews are important.
Well, back to the common sense redneck approach.
Yep.
How many of you watching this podcast get on Amazon and they look at a product that they want, and if they have 3.2 stars or 2 reviews, they don't buy it? Or even 4.5 stars with 2 reviews and they don't buy it. But
or restaurants,
holy gosh,
or whatever.
If they have 10,000 reviews at 4.5 stars, they're going to buy it.
Yep.
Or a restaurant. Let's talk about eating. I'm a foodie, right? A food or a restaurant place that has 4.5 stars or more and that has hundreds of reviews, that's a pretty good pull sampling, right? Reviews are, people buy off stars. It's pretty simplistic. It's very, 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 very simplistic for the common folk like us, right? Ask for the reviews. People do the same thing in service-based businesses. It doesn't matter if you're in the HVAC business, the plumbing business, the restaurant business. Reviews are key. So ask for them. Don't be afraid to ask for them. Build up your reputation of your business. It's how it's built. So that's a great topic. We ask for them a lot. There's a lot of times that we screw up too. And there's a lot of times that we screw up and our service is not to our satisfaction because we have employees and we have equipment that not everything goes right every time. So respond to reviews if you're an entrepreneur. Just be honest and be a human being. I always say it's easy to be a human being. So you're going to screw up. It's how you respond to it and how you fix it. So for us, we always try to do our best and fix it.
Yeah, and sometimes you got, I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but you could get bogus reviews. We've got bogus reviews, right? And you can get some
from
of those.
Competitors.
Yeah, from competitors, most likely, right? And you can get those removed. It is kind of tough to do. But at the end of the day, if you do screw up, I get on there personally and I'll own up to it. I'll be like, look, here's what happened, right? It's not an excuse. This is what happened. We apologize. We hope we can earn your business next time. And here's my number directly if I can help you in any other way or just whatever, right? But responding to them, showing that you're not trying to hide from whatever it was that your team or you messed up on is going to pay dividends. If you can get anything out of it, you're going to at least show some respect to that individual and, own up to it. And they're going to think next time, like this guy, at least he spent the time to explain it and maybe you'll learn that business in the next time. But
that's what's always resilient about just people in general. People understand people make mistakes. It's right. It's how do you front it? It's how do you take care of it, right? Responding with a positive message, make it right, showing the public that, hey, look, yeah, we messed up. We're going to make this right, and then make it right. And then move forward. And people see that, like, dang, the dumpster scratched the concrete. We're going to make it right. Or whatever in your circumstance may have happened, you make it right, move forward. So let's go to our next big deal. So website, social media. Social media is huge nowadays. We use social media and we spend a lot of money on social media. We also have outside sales staff.
Yeah. And that's our second point, right? Marketing was first, broad. Right. And then kind of your specialty, in my opinion, outside sales.
Yeah. So we're not a global company. We offer local based services, right? In a very, very tight radius. So we utilize our contacts. How do we do that? Well, from people we know. You know what I mean? People we know need our services. And then we join organizations like HBA, Home Builders Association, AGC, ABC, Associate Builder and Contractors. There's a lot of organizations in every market in the U.S., and I'm sure if you're outside the U.S., which we have a big fan base outside the U.S., you guys have your own organizations that you guys could join. We highly recommend. It doesn't do good, folks, to go in there and write the check and not be involved. It's like anything else. You got to get highly involved.
I agree.
We have a lot of partners, and we have a lot of different sales staff in our organization that join these organizations, and we highly motivate them to get involved, and it pays tenfold. So don't go in there thinking you join the HBA or you join this particular organization that revolves around your business that you're just going to have all this flow of sales coming in. That's not how it works. People buy from people they know. B2B sales, right? You have to motivate your sales staff to get involved in these organizations on the local level. If you're selling a product and it's more globalized, that's a different approach. But for us, if you're in the plumbing, HVAC, any type of service industry servicing a very tight radius like Erik and I are, B2B sales and outside sales is key to getting involved in these organizations.
I agree, and I can't say enough about outside sales because, that's really where we've shined the most. And that's for us. I'm not sure it's for everybody, but long and short of it is creating relationships, making sure your customer service is on point, right? And if you've already got those two, if you can basically get out on these job sites, get on the front side, be a personable individual, right? And have these conversations with them, know your product, right? And talk to these guys, like you're human, and be like, look, we can help you. We know our team's great. Know your product, talk about it, yada, yada, make those deals in the outside sales. And that's where it all begins. Marketing for me is a supplement. Outside sales, face to face. We got 2, 3, 4 guys running around at all the job sites. And that is where you make your real money, in my opinion, at least on the service side for what we're doing.
We have 7 outside salespeople.
Yeah, see, 7. So I lose track, right? But at the end of the day, outside sales is it takes the cake for us. So,
and then there's a lot of things that go into outside sales. Let me give you top 3 bullet points, right? Hire sales staff, outside sales, and then guide them. A lot of times you got to teach them your business model and what you're about. They're going to learn over time what you're good at and what you're not good at, right? They're naturally going to push what they see the company's good at. So give them some parameters. Don't just let them go free for all. You're going to be highly disappointed. You're going to be disappointed with the system. You're going to be disappointed with the results. I've done that before. Don't be stupid, right? You hire the sales staff, you get all excited, and you think they're just going to go kill it for you, but you don't give them parameters. And the next thing you know, they're unsuccessful, you're unsuccessful, and then you feel like you just wasted a lot of money. Don't do that. I've done that before. Give them some parameters. Give them some key target customers to go attack. Sit down and spend some time with them. Teach them what the company's about. Make them understand your contracts, because those are all the things that you hire outside salesmen to mitigate. They mitigate all the questions for your inside sales staff, right? So we spend a lot of time saying, hey, these are the customers we want to go grab. If they're under $1 threshold, we'll use social media to go grab it. You know what I mean? And then we'll use our inside sales staff to go in there and tailor the message to grab those low-lying fruit that we're already having the inbound sales calls. Mm-hmm. And we're going to utilize our outside salespeople to go get those larger clients that they're probably not going to call us off Google or social media platforms, right? They're going to need somebody that's going to develop that relationship. People that utilize a lot of our services, on a mass scale, they have to depend on us. If it's from Erik's Dumpsters, or we're securing their job sites, or John Ryan's, facility services company, or our fueling and lubricant company, these people depend on that we're going to show up. Fueling's a perfect example. You can't operate your company if you don't have fuel in your fuel tank. They have to have relationships and understanding that we're going to show up.
For sure. I think you hit on a good point that I didn't talk about earlier that I can't stress enough, and that's on outside sales. Spend the time with your salespeople to create a list. Know the market that you're after. Know the construction companies that you're going after, or whatever it is that you're going after in your service business, and create a list. Get a good idea of how much revenue each individual customer can give you. Prioritize those, right? Like you said, and attack those based on your priority, right? And then once it gets to a drop-off point of, say, if these kind of customers are only going to generate you $5,000 a year, maybe it's not going to be on the top of your priority list. Maybe that's something you just want to try to tackle on the marketing side, right? And then just specific marketing to that. So I think you hit a couple good points that I didn't catch. In customer lists and prioritizing that is a key piece.
How do you get the customer list? That's a great point.
Yeah.
How do you get a customer list? Don't be stupid. There's Google. You type in construction companies. You can get usually your best construction companies pop up on first page.
There you go.
You know what I mean? Like,
for sure.
Use common sense.
Yep.
Right? Common sense will solve a lot of this stuff. Don't let somebody sell you some expensive list. I've done that before, right? That's outdated. Get on there and hit mass enter to email export, and what do you know? You send them 1,000 emails, you got 999 in return, and you realize that you just got ripped off.
Yeah.
So use common sense, folks. Google is way smarter than probably most of us on this channel, right? They understand who's relevant in the marketplaces and who's not. So if you want to know If you're touching construction companies like Eric and I do, or industrial, you can probably get on Google and figure out who's relevant in your marketplace. So be common sense, and then dispatch and deploy your salespeople.
Yep. And then I'd say the last little piece before we move on is, set goals, right? I mean, we set individual goals for ourselves, right? So sitting down with your sales team or your senior VP or whatever it is, right, of the sales side, sit down with them, make sure he understands where you want to go, make sure that you set those goals, and then he sets those goals for those salespeople below, or it's you individually and you're setting it for those salespeople. But setting those goals, tracking those goals, and making sure you're hitting them using the methods that Josh and I were talking about. So, yep. Another thing I want to talk about, lastly, and it kind of brings it all in, and that's, and I'll be the first one to be honest, it's kind of tough to do, and that's making sure you're tracking everything.
Whoa. Stay tuned, folks. I got one hidden secret you're going to want to hear. You're going to want to hear this at the end.
Fair enough.
It's taken
I don't know what he's going to talk about.
A lot of years to figure this out.
So what I was going to say was getting all that tied in together and tracking your marketing and how many dollars you're making from marketing, right? Whether you're using a CRM or your calls that are coming in or your form fills or whatever, right? Tracking that, understanding your revenue, that your ROI from your marketing dollars spent, how much is costing you on the outside sales side to generate that customer, to gain that customer, right? And then on your inside sales, what that's costing you. So in being able to track all that, right, and understand, and it's easier said than done. I haven't perfected it in any stretch of the imagination.
It's very hard.
But being able to do that, right, or working towards that, right, is key to be able to understand all that. Because if your outside sales is costing you, call it $500 to get a customer, and your marketing side is costing you $25, right, you may be thinking differently. Or
what is the cost per acquisition?
Exactly.
How much does it cost you to acquire the customer? And then you and I look at it this way all the time. Yeah. I always say, what is it going to cost us if it's outside sales, inside sales, social media, Google AdWords, SEO? What is it going to cost to acquire that customer? Mm-hmm. And what is the lifetime revenue of that customer? Mm-hmm. Right? If you simplify it from that standpoint, which you have to have good accounting systems and good data to put all those numbers into relevant, to make it relevant and make it accurate. But if you can say, hey, I can spend $100 to acquire this customer, and they're gonna cost me $100 to generate the customer, and they're gonna make me $4,000 over a lifetime, over the next 2 or 3 years, and I'm gonna run my business at 20%. I'll spend the $100 all day long, folks. Right? It's pretty simple math. We don't overcomplicate things. But you got to know your data. You got to have good accounting practices. That's what the big boys do. They know exactly. People like you and I watching this are like, how the hell does Coca-Cola spend $1.8 million for 1 second of a Super Bowl commercial, or whatever the number may be? Because they know their numbers. They know exactly what that commercial is probably going to generate them.
They for sure do.
So
they wouldn't do it.
Exactly. So they have a bunch of people behind the background running all these analytics, and they have all these data points and all the things that you and I don't have. So if you're small like Eric and I, or smaller than Eric and I, or larger than Eric and I, you need to know what the most efficient, effective platform is for your industry. And then you're going to need to know how often these people buy these products. How much money can they generate if you acquire that customer? It might be somebody like myself that uses a lot of vitamins, right? I need new vitamins every other month. So if I find a vitamin I like, I'm a pretty damn good customer, right? And for you, it's toilets, it's dumpsters. If somebody finds a service they like and it's a competitive price, and they plan on, if it's a young entrepreneur like us and they're building up their construction company, and you acquire them early on, they've been in business for 30 years, and you continue to offer a great service and build that relationship, that customer can be worth $1,000, or it could be worth millions, depending on the size and scope and the potential of the customer, right? So it's a lot of guessing, but there's some calculations in there you can do, and don't overcomplicate it. It's very easy to overcomplicate it. It's very easy to get overwhelmed with all the data too. So, cost per acquisition, revenue per lifetime. Common sense.
So you were teasing us earlier about some deal you had that I wasn't even aware of.
I wanted to give you a sneak peek, and I wanted to, Erik has dove in. Erik's done a phenomenal job, folks. I've tested and spent thousands of dollars early on in my career, then it grew to tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands and then millions over my entire career of all the different items, and all the different schemes and trends and sponsor the ballpark team. And if your son plays sports or daughter plays sports, sponsor their sports team, right? And there's 500 here, 1,000 here. But I wanted you to stay tuned. I wanted to ask Erik, and I'll give you my opinion too. What has worked best for you in the industries you're in your opinion? What has worked best for you, best bang for the buck? And he's in local service-based businesses that you feel like being highly involved in the marketing and sales industry. Has it been outside sales, social media, Google AdWords? Has it been retargeting? Has it been whatever it may be? Has it been sponsoring a football team, sponsoring, you see these signs on like Paycom Center and all these fancy things. You're like, dang, how much does that cost? What can you tell that camera right there and give our viewers the best insight possible in your opinion that they can take away? Operating in, what do you operate? Multiple eight-figure company. What has been one thing you try?
Man, to me, it all boils down to outside sales. Majorly outside sales.
That's a good perspective.
Yeah. So
I would say that's number one by far.
Yep.
But I think the longer I've been in business, it's a common collective approach of everything. So I think, to your point, I do agree with you. If I had to pick only one, it'd probably be outside sales.
Well, that's what you asked me.
But it's one approach. I would say having your branding on your trucks and having the branding on your equipment, or having the branding on your little bottle, whatever you sell, or whatever widget it is, having your outside sales, having your social media, having your B2B sales, having your inside sales, having the VP of sales or some type of that can integrate all the information and be able to utilize and track data, CRM programs. Long story short, folks, there's so many different ways you can sell your products and goods and services. I'm not saying what Erik and I told you today is going to work for you, but it has worked for us. And we sell products, we sell services, and we sell ourselves, and we sell our brand.
But guys, we appreciate you guys listening. Hopefully this will help you a little bit in understanding what we did and how we, get our customers and the different methods that we use. So hope you like the content. We're going to have some more exciting stuff coming up. And
please subscribe. Now, we didn't hear a lot of feedback from our last one. Give us some feedback what your best marketing strategy is. I guarantee you probably have a better idea than us. So we want to listen. And we also like to listen from unique perspectives around the world. You know what I mean? Like, just because you're not from the U.S., which we're out of, tell us what you're doing.
For sure.
Tell us how you're doing it. Tell us how much you're spending. PM us. Private message us. We want to know.
Yep.
Right? So shout out to you guys. Thank you for following us. We look forward to continuing to do these podcasts and as we continue to grow. Hey, by the way, Erik, I got a YouTube email the other day and last night actually, and it says, congratulations, you officially hit 10,000 followers. So we would never hit that 10,000 followers if it wasn't for you guys watching this show. So I appreciate it very much, and that gives us a lot of encouragement to continue to do this and spend the time to do this.
Heck yeah.
So
love it.
Look forward to seeing you soon.